The world tests, not pampers. Life is not structured to make you comfortable. It is structured to make you capable. And the difference between those who rise and those who collapse often comes down to whether they recognize this truth. If you expect life to hand you ease, you will be disappointed. If you expect it to hand you challenges and you prepare yourself to meet them with strength, then you will grow. Every day, we encounter pressures, financial pressures, emotional pressures, family demands, professional setbacks, health struggles. Some people think these pressures are evidence that something is wrong with their lives. But the opposite is true. Pressure is evidence that you are alive. A diamond is formed under extreme pressure. Steel is forged in the fire. And a human mind, a human spirit, is strengthened only when it is tested. When you begin to understand that the world is not a cradle but a classroom, you start to see your struggles differently. Instead of asking, why me? You ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of wishing away the difficulty, you welcome the opportunity to become stronger, wiser, sharper. The world will not coddle you, but it will coach you if you are willing to pay attention. Too many people fold when life gets difficult because they secretly believed life would be easy. They believed comfort was their birthright. And so, when reality shows up with setbacks, rejection, or criticism, they crumble. But the tough-minded expect resistance. They expect opposition. They expect that reaching for anything worthwhile will require endurance. And because they expect it, they are not shaken when it comes. Mental toughness is not about ignoring pain or pretending problems don't exist. It is about refusing to let problems dictate your future. It is about holding onto your vision when circumstances argue against it. It is about getting up one more time than you fall. The world may push you, but you push back with determination. The world may shake you, but you steady yourself with principles. The world tests your patience with delays. It tests your courage with risks. It tests your faith with uncertainty. It tests your discipline with temptation. Each test is an invitation to grow. And growth only comes through testing. If everything were smooth, your character would remain shallow. If everything were easy, your wisdom would remain small. But because life tests you, you get the chance to deepen, to expand, to build a mind and spirit that cannot be broken. The question is never whether the world will test you. That is guaranteed. The real question is whether you will interpret the test as punishment or preparation. Weak minds see punishment. Strong minds see preparation. Weak minds complain. Strong minds adapt. Weak minds surrender. Strong minds persevere. The difference is not in the circumstances, but in the interpretation of the circumstances. If you look closely at the people who achieve extraordinary things, you will find that their journeys were marked by extraordinary tests. Rejection, failure, loss, and obstacles littered their path, but instead of breaking them, those challenges toughened them. They learned persistence when doors closed. They learned resilience when plans fell apart. They learned creativity when resources ran low, and they became unstoppable, not because life spared them hardship, but because life trained them through hardship. So, if the world is testing you right now, don't interpret it as cruelty. See it as construction. Something in you is being built. Strength, patience, character, resilience. And once built, those qualities will serve you for a lifetime. Remember this, the world does not pamper, it prepares. It does not hand out comfort, it hands out challenges. And those challenges are the stepping stones to your best self. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you stop wishing for ease and start preparing for greatness. The world tests, not pampers. So strengthen your mind. Stand firm when life pushes. Refuse to be fragile. And let every test become the very thing that qualifies you for the future you desire. Because once your mind is tough, nothing the world throws at you will have the power to break you. Instead, you will rise above it, wiser, stronger, and unstoppable. A fragile mind invites defeat because it cannot withstand the pressure of reality. Life has a way of pressing down on us all. There are unexpected losses, broken promises, sudden failures, and seasons of uncertainty. These are not rare occurrences. They are part of the human experience. But the difference between those who rise and those who collapse is not found in luck or even in talent. It is found in the condition of the mind. A fragile mind cracks under pressure. while a toughened mind uses pressure as the very thing that makes it stronger. When the mind is fragile, it looks for comfort instead of growth. It avoids pain instead of facing it. It chooses the easy excuse instead of the hard lesson. And every time it avoids, every time it retreats, it grows weaker. Soon, even small problems feel unbearable, and small criticisms feel crushing. The fragile mind is like glass, beautiful when untouched, but shattered the moment life applies pressure. That is why it invites defeat, because the world is full of pressure and no one escapes it. On the other hand, a strong mind accepts that challenges are not personal attacks, but opportunities for growth. It learns to stay calm when things fall apart. It learns to absorb criticism without losing confidence. It learns that failure is not a verdict, but a stepping stone. The strong mind does not deny the difficulty of life. It simply refuses to be broken by it. Consider the story of anyone who has accomplished something significant. Behind the scenes, they endured rejection, they faced setbacks, they walked through seasons of doubt. What kept them moving forward was not a perfect environment, but a trained mind. Their toughness did not come from avoiding hardship, but from enduring it, learning from it, and rising because of it. The fragile mind will always say, "Why me?" The strong mind says, "Why not me?" The fragile mind sees obstacles as reasons to quit. The strong mind sees them as tests to pass. The fragile mind interprets pain as proof that it's not meant to be. The strong mind interprets pain as proof that it is being refined. But here is the secret: toughness of mind does not happen overnight. Just like strength in the body, it is built daily through deliberate training. It grows when you discipline yourself to keep promises, even the small ones you make to yourself. It grows when you read, study, and feed your mind with powerful ideas instead of empty noise. It grows when you surround yourself with people who challenge you, not just comfort you. Each of these choices is like a workout for the mind, adding weight, adding resistance, adding strength. A fragile mind invites defeat because it waits for life to be easy. But life will never become easy. The storms will come, the critics will speak, the disappointments will arrive. If your hope rests on a smooth path, you will collapse when the road turns rough. But if your hope rests on the strength of your mind, then no matter how rough the path becomes, you will still move forward. Every day you are faced with two choices: strengthen your mind or leave it fragile. To strengthen it means choosing discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, resilience over retreat. To leave it fragile means letting moods dictate your progress, letting fear silence your action, letting criticism decide your worth. One choice leads to victory, the other to defeat. And here is the most empowering truth: your mind is not fixed. If it is fragile today, it can be strengthened tomorrow. If it breaks easily now, it can be trained to endure. Toughness is not a gift reserved for a few. It is a skill built by anyone willing to endure the process. So do not let your mind remain fragile. Refuse defeat by preparing for it. When life presses, let it find steel, not glass. Let your mind be the fortress that holds strong when everything else shakes. Because the truth is undeniable: a fragile mind invites defeat, but a toughened mind transforms every defeat into a future victory. Life has a way of presenting us with obstacles that feel inconvenient, unfair, and sometimes overwhelming. But if you look closely, you'll realize that these very obstacles are not punishments. They are training grounds. Resistance builds resilience, just as steel is forged in fire, and muscles are built under the strain of weight. Your mind and character are strengthened when they are tested by the pressures of life. When you lift a heavy weight, the muscle fibers in your body are torn ever so slightly. That tearing doesn't weaken you, it's what triggers growth. The body repairs those fibers, and in the process, you become stronger. The same principle applies to your mind. Each challenge, each disappointment, and each failure is a form of resistance that, if embraced, makes you mentally tougher than before. The problem is, too many people spend their lives running from resistance. They seek comfort at the expense of growth. They avoid difficulties, thinking they are protecting themselves, when in truth they are robbing themselves of the very experiences that could shape them into who they were meant to be. You don't develop resilience by avoiding life. You develop it by engaging with life fully, even when it hurts, even when it scares you. Think about the stories of the most successful individuals you admire. Almost without exception, their greatness was not born in comfort. It was born in challenge. They learned how to face resistance head on and transform it into fuel for growth. Every rejection, every setback, every sleepless night became part of the training that toughened their minds and prepared them for higher levels of responsibility. But resilience is not built automatically. It requires a decision to see resistance as your ally rather than your enemy. When life places a barrier in your path, you can either interpret it as proof that you're not capable, or you can interpret it as a test designed to increase your capacity. The choice you make in that moment determines the trajectory of your growth. Now, let's be honest. Resistance doesn't feel good. Struggle isn't comfortable. But neither is staying stuck, broke or broken. And that's the trade-off. We must all face the short-term discomfort of resistance versus the long-term suffering of weakness. When you choose the path of resistance, you pay today and reap tomorrow. When you avoid it, you may feel relief today, but face regret for a lifetime. Resilience means that when life knocks you down, you don't just get back up, you get back up stronger. You carry the lesson, you adjust your strategy, and you move forward with greater wisdom. It means you refuse to let failure have the final word. You become the kind of person who sees adversity not as a dead end, but as a detour leading to new growth. So, how do you practice this principle daily? You start by changing your relationship with difficulty. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this teaching me?" You build habits of discipline because small daily acts of resistance, waking up early, exercising, reading, practicing self-control, are the very things that toughen your mental muscles. You surround yourself with people who challenge you to rise higher, not people who make excuses for you to stay the same. Remember, this life is not supposed to be easy. It is supposed to shape you. The storms are not there to destroy you, they are there to prepare you. And the more you train your mind to endure resistance, the more resilience you develop. Over time, you'll discover that the challenges that once broke you no longer even shake you. That's the power of resilience. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and makes you unshakable in the face of life's uncertainties. So, don't run from the weight. Don't avoid the struggle. Embrace the resistance, because resistance builds resilience. And resilience is what makes you unstoppable. When we talk about mental toughness, many people misunderstand the phrase. They picture someone with a hard face, a stiff personality, and no emotions at all. They think toughness means being cold, shutting yourself off, and never showing any vulnerability. But real strength has nothing to do with becoming numb or losing your humanity. True toughness is about staying steady, clear and resilient without sacrificing your warmth, your compassion, or your ability to connect with others. Strength doesn't mean coldness, it means stability. You see, the fragile mind gets carried away by moods and emotions. When things go right, it soars too high, and when things go wrong, it crashes too low. But the strong mind holds steady in both situations. It celebrates victories without arrogance and endures difficulties without despair. That balance doesn't come from turning your heart to stone. It comes from discipline, self-control, and perspective. Think about a great leader. The ones who inspire others are not the ones who shut themselves off from feeling. They are the ones who can stand strong in a storm while still offering encouragement, empathy, and vision. Their toughness is visible in their ability to carry heavy responsibility without breaking, and their warmth is visible in the way they lift others up. That's the model of toughness we should strive for, strong enough to endure, soft enough to care. The danger of confusing toughness with coldness is that you cut yourself off from one of the greatest sources of strength: connection with others. A cold person isolates themselves thinking it will protect them. But isolation doesn't protect, it weakens. A tough person, on the other hand, knows how to set boundaries without shutting out love, how to face criticism without shutting out learning, and how to endure pain without shutting out hope. When life knocks you down, coldness will tell you, don't feel anything. But toughness says, feel it, but don't let it control you. Coldness numbs the heart, toughness strengthens the spirit. Coldness avoids, toughness confronts. Coldness shuts down possibilities. Toughness opens the door to growth. That is why strength never requires you to become cold. Now, how do you build this kind of toughness? First, by practicing self-awareness. You must know your emotions without being ruled by them. When anger shows up, recognize it, but don't let it dictate your words. When fear whispers, acknowledge it, but don't let it stop your actions. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Second, you toughen your mind through perspective. A problem always feels heavier when you see it as the end of the world. But when you step back and look at it as one chapter in a long story, its power over you weakens. Perspective allows you to remain calm when others panic. Third, you strengthen your resolve through discipline. Discipline is proof to yourself that you can do what you say even when it's uncomfortable. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are toughening your mind. Every time you choose principle over convenience, you are proving that your strength is not dependent on circumstances. And finally, you must learn to balance toughness with compassion. Be strong enough to stand firm in your values, but gentle enough to extend a hand to others. The strongest people are not the ones who show no emotion. They are the ones who can feel deeply but act wisely. They can face rejection without bitterness, and they can give encouragement even when they themselves are struggling. The world is full of people who confuse hardness with strength. They think shutting down makes them powerful, but hardness breaks easily under pressure because it is brittle. True strength bends without breaking, adjusts without collapsing, and endures without losing its humanity. So remember, strength doesn't mean coldness. It means carrying yourself with resilience while keeping your heart alive. It means facing storms without fear, but also bringing warmth to others who are caught in the rain. If you can master that balance, firm in mind, open in heart, you'll be the kind of person who not only survives the challenges of life, but also inspires others to face theirs with courage. That is the kind of toughness the world needs. That is the kind of toughness that will never be broken. Guard and feed your mind wisely, because your mind is the gatekeeper of your life. Everything you will ever do, everything you will ever become, begins with the thoughts you allow to take root. If your mind is weak, your life will follow that weakness. If your mind is strong, disciplined, and nourished with the right ideas, there is no limit to how far you can go. The quality of your life is nothing more than a reflection of the quality of your thinking. Now, most people are careful about what they put into their bodies. They know that junk food will harm them, so they try to eat better. But far too many are careless about what they put into their minds. They consume gossip, negativity, and cheap entertainment without realizing that every piece of information is a seed. And like any seed, it grows. If you plant weeds in your mind, don't be surprised when your life feels overrun with problems. That is why you must guard your mind like a farmer guards his field. Protect it from the weeds of doubt, fear, and distraction. Guarding your mind does not mean you never listen to criticism or avoid hearing what's unpleasant. No, sometimes truth is uncomfortable, and you must face it. But it does mean that you stay alert about what influences are shaping your thinking. Who do you spend time with? What conversations dominate your day? What books are you reading, or are you reading at all? What voices are you allowing to occupy your attention? These are not small questions. They determine your destiny. Because whatever enters your mind repeatedly will eventually shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your behavior. But guarding your mind is only half the story. You must also feed it wisely. Just as your body needs nourishment, your mind needs daily food, ideas, principles, and wisdom that strengthen it. Read books that stretch your perspective. Listen to mentors who challenge you to grow. Study the stories of those who overcame obstacles, because their victories will plant the seed of courage in your own soul. The mind cannot stay strong on a diet of empty noise. It requires substance. And the more you feed it with truth, the more resilient it becomes. You see, the mind is like a bank account. Every day you make deposits through what you see, hear, and think. If you keep depositing doubt and fear, soon that's all you'll have to withdraw. But if you deposit courage, discipline, and wisdom, then when life's difficulties demand payment, you'll have something valuable to draw upon. That's why the discipline of feeding your mind wisely is not optional. It is essential. Let me also tell you this: guarding and feeding your mind is not a one-time project. It's not like you can read one good book, listen to one inspiring talk, and declare yourself strong forever. No, it's a daily discipline. The world will never stop trying to influence you. Negativity will always knock at the door. Fear will always try to creep back in. The battle for your mind is ongoing, which is why your defense must be ongoing too. Every day, you must recommit to what enters your thoughts and what stays out. When your mind is well guarded and well fed, you stop being at the mercy of circumstances. Problems don't shrink, but you grow larger than them. Criticism still stings, but it doesn't paralyze you. Setbacks still hurt, but they don't define you. And temptations still whisper, but they lose their power over you because your mind has been trained to see through them. That's the power of mental discipline. So let me leave you with this challenge: be as intentional about your mental diet as you are about your physical one. Protect it from the poison of small thinking. Feed it with the nutrients of wisdom, faith, and discipline. Surround it with voices that lift you higher, not drag you lower. Because if you don't guard and feed your mind wisely, the world will do it for you. And the world's menu is filled with fear, distraction, and mediocrity. But if you take responsibility, if you decide today to strengthen your mind, you'll discover that no storm can break you. Instead, you'll stand firm, unshaken, and ready for the destiny that awaits you. Right toughness transforms setbacks. It's one of the greatest truths about success and life itself. Every person who has achieved something meaningful will tell you the same thing. It wasn't the victories alone that made them who they are, but the struggles they endured, the failures they survived, and the obstacles they refused to let define them. You see, the world is relentless in testing you. It doesn't ask whether you're ready. It doesn't pause to give you time to prepare. Life throws challenges in your path to see what you're made of. Some people allow these challenges to defeat them. They give up when the pressure comes. But the ones who go on to live extraordinary lives are those who decide that no matter how many times they fall, they will rise stronger than before. They know that toughness is not just about surviving. It's about transforming every setback into a stepping stone toward greatness. Think of it this way. When steel is forged, it goes through fire. It is bent, hammered, and shaped under intense pressure. The fire and the pressure don't destroy it. They refine it. The same is true for you. The fire of adversity is not there to break you. It is there to strengthen you. Toughness of mind is what allows you to face the heat without crumbling, to take the blows without losing your shape, and to emerge from the struggle sharper, wiser, and more resilient. The danger comes when we see setbacks as signals to quit. Many people misinterpret failure as a message that they're not good enough or that success isn't meant for them. But the truth is, failure is not final. It is feedback. It is the universe telling you there's something more to learn, another skill to develop, or a better strategy to adopt. Without toughness, you miss the lesson. With toughness, you extract the wisdom and keep moving forward. Toughness also changes your relationship with criticism. Instead of shrinking under the weight of someone's opinion, you learn to ask, what can I take from this? What part of this will help me improve? Weakness takes offense, toughness takes notes. A fragile mind gets wounded and retreats, but a tough mind gets sharpened and advances. Another benefit of mental toughness is that it trains you to control your response. You may not control every storm life sends your way, but you absolutely control how you navigate through it. Do you panic, give up, or lash out? Or do you steady yourself, take inventory of your strengths, and move forward with clarity? A tough mind always chooses the second path. That's what separates those who crumble under pressure from those who thrive in it. Now, toughness does not mean you won't feel the pain of setbacks. It doesn't mean you'll never doubt, never cry, or never question yourself. It means that even in those moments of pain and uncertainty, you refuse to let them dictate your destiny. You acknowledge the difficulty, but you don't surrender to it. You might bend, but you won't break. And that's the mark of real strength. History is full of stories of people who were tough enough to transform setbacks into comebacks. Inventors who failed hundreds of times before making breakthroughs. Leaders who were rejected, criticized, and doubted until they proved the world wrong. Everyday people who rose from poverty, illness, or heartbreak to create lives of significance. Their secret wasn't a smooth journey. It was a tough mind that refused to stay down. So if you're facing setbacks right now, remind yourself this isn't the end. This is the classroom. This is training. This is preparation for the success that lies ahead. The question isn't, why is this happening to me? The question is, what is this teaching me, and how can I use it to rise higher? Toughness transforms setbacks because it shifts your vision. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, you start seeing them as building blocks. Instead of seeing failure as defeat, you start seeing it as data. Instead of seeing criticism as rejection, you start seeing it as redirection. That shift in perspective is what allows ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. At the end of the day, the world will test you. It will send storms, obstacles, and disappointments your way. But whether those storms break you or build you is entirely up to you. If you toughen your mind, those same setbacks that would destroy someone else will become the very fuel that propels you forward. And when you look back, you'll realize that the tough times weren't there to stop you. They were there to shape you into the person capable of handling the success you were destined for. Toughness transforms setbacks. Choose toughness, and you will turn every defeat into the foundation of your future victory.